All right, on that, we'll dive right into our next media availability here with three of our NASCAR Xfinity Series drivers. We have Cole Custer, driver of the 00 Haas Automation Ford, Brennan Poole, driver of the number 48 DC Solar Chevrolet, and Brennan Gaughan, driver of the number 62 South Point Hotel and Casino Chevrolet. Brendan, I'll start with you. Both of these guys next to you have wins here in the ARCA Series. Have they given you any pointers on anything this weekend?
Me first?
Yep.
Oh, no. The only thing we're getting pointers on up here right now is facial hair. I just rolled in, so that the young kids come in with their teams, and the old guy rolls in from the West Coast. So I haven't had a chance to talk to them yet. But I did not know that both of them had wins here in the ARCA Series. This track is a lot of fun, so they both know how to do it, and it's. I think, is that ARCA out there right now? Riley's still third on the board. Riley Herbst, second. Nice. So, yeah, I've been paying attention to that because of Riley Herbst, so I'm seeing how he's been doing. He's been having a good run lately, so I will be paying attention to the ARCA race, and I might have to grab Brennan. Brennan and I have been racing a lot against each other the last couple of races. We've been having some fun. We've been leaning on each other a little bit and running each other really hard, and I like racing with Brennan, so Brennan, something like that. So it's been a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it.
All right, good
I
deal.
haven't seen Cole much. Cole's been kicking my ass so bad that I haven't been anywhere near him, so I got to work on getting back up to him.
All right, Brandon, we'll move over to you next. You obviously did win an ARCA race here at Pocono. You're 7th right now in the NASCAR Xfinity Series point standings. Can you kind of take us through your strong season so far and kind of what to expect tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could eliminate some of those races where we didn't finish, but it's just racing. You know, I've kind of had some things go my way and not go my way this year, but you know, when we have finished, I think I have like 4 top 10s and an 11th and a 12th. So certainly last week was disappointing, finishing 12th after running in the top 5 and up front most of the day. But for the last 2 races, the first stage, I've ran in the top 5. So I think we've got got a little bit more raw speed than we've had over the past couple of months, and so I'm excited about that coming here to Pocono, a track that's one of my favorite tracks that we come to. And hopefully we just can carry some of over some of that momentum and the speed that we've had this year and turn it into a good day tomorrow.
Good deal. Cole, you're making your track debut here in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, but you have won here in ARCA. You're going for your 3rd consecutive Sunoco Rookie of the Race. Can you talk about your goals heading into the race tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of speed, especially on like the mile and a half, some bigger tracks. So I think, I think we've been able to run top 5 and up there on these bigger tracks. So I think that will be our goal. But during practice, I'll probably just be learning the track the first practice. And I've won here in the ARCA Series before, but I definitely would not say this is my best track. So I think it's just some place that you're gonna have to get used to and try and just work up to it.
Outstanding. With that, we'll open it up for questions. If you have a question for any of these 3 drivers, please raise your hand, and we'll get a microphone to you. Go here to middle with Zach.
Zach Sternilo from the Pocono Record. For Brennan and Brendan, I know last year's Xfinity race got cut short by a pretty good amount there. So there hasn't been much track time for the Xfinity cars out here. Is that any kind of hindrance, or what do you feel like the expectations are for you guys coming into this weekend?
Well, I mean, I felt like we got some decent practice time and getting to run half the race. I mean, anytime a race is shortened, it's kind of a little bit of a bummer, especially, I know for me, in the day that I was having, I was like 10th to 12th. Actually, we were racing around each other a lot then. I just was watching the race this week. I was like, gosh, I feel like I'm always racing around Brennan. But, so I feel like all the teams and everyone have a pretty good understanding on where we need to be. The weather's going to be a little bit different this week than it was the last time we were here, so definitely going to have to take that into consideration. But I think for the most part, we all have an understanding of what we need to do and where our race cars need to be.
It's a rain out. It sucked. It was the first one ever at Pocono, which sucked. You definitely don't want those things, especially for the track and a group that works so hard as this group here does. But it's just racing. I mean, we got a race. We got to a halfway point where, okay, rain came. It was time to shut it down. But all 3 of us up here, they both have raced here before. They both have won here before. We've been racing all year. It means nothing else except that just was rain shortened last year. Let's go have a good time this year.
Go ahead, Chris.
No.
What do you guys think of stage racing?
Really, that's the big.
You guys have had some time to digest it.
It's so far for me, it's been great.
It can play a lot of strategy, especially
No, it's played strategy for the 62 team all year because we have had the year from hell with getting hit, getting spun, getting roughed, beat around, and we've had to play strategy all year long. The race at Charlotte when Brennan and I raced around each other near the end, that was all because of how things led into the final stage. So I think it's been really cool. It gives you a chance to make stuff up. It gives you a chance to give away a few points to try to gain track position later. If you're willing to, where was it, Talladega or something, we stayed out with the rest of the Xfinity regulars that were racing for the stage win instead of coming in for tires when you should have, which the Cup guys did. So it's really changed the way you race our series, and it's been a lot of fun, especially when we've had so many struggles getting up there. Cole probably hasn't been able to do as much. Cole's been running up front.
Oh, we had to do it last week.
Well, last week, one race. So it's that, but that's what's been fun. Is it's changed the theory behind how everybody's racing, depending on where you're at. And I think it's really been a game changer in the sport. And I don't say that about NASCAR a lot. I think everybody knows that I'll say how it is. I think it's really been cool, and I like that it's there.
What kind of effect can it have this weekend? I mean,
I think this weekend, when you look at it, the way the stages are set up and the way our fuel windows are, there's like
What are
5 different things that you can do. It's
What
like
are the
25, 50, 100, right?
So it's 25, 25, and 50 laps?
Yeah. So
What's the fuel run here? It's like barely 25 laps. We can't make 25 laps.
no,
we can.
we can make 25. Yeah.
Pretty sure. I
Yeah.
don't really know.
It's not much farther after that.
That.
It's like 28 laps.
We
Yeah.
can make it. We can make the stage.
You can make the stage. Yeah.
But you can really do a lot with when you're pitting, when you're.
Yeah, because too here you can pit and not go a lap down.
Exactly.
So it's gonna like really be like, do you set yourself up? Are you setting yourself up for stage points or where to be at the end of the race? That's gonna like play a factor. And I think it all kind of depends on where you're running at the time. If you're running like 10th to 12, you're probably gonna pit. But if you're not, if you're up front all day, you're not gonna take that chance. You're just gonna pit when the leaders pit. But like a good example, like Cole was just talking about last week. I went for stage points the first 2 stages, and then by the end of the race, the last run, I had to restart 19th. Well, he restarts up on the front row or wherever, and he ends up finishing 4th, and I ended up finishing 12th. But because I ran for stage points, even though my end of the day result wasn't the same, I didn't lose any points. I kind of ended up being the same with the 16 who's right in front of me in points, so I'm trying to get around. So, I think there's just so many different ways to do it. Like looking back on last weekend, I probably would have pit, because I finished like 7th or 8th in the second stage, so I only got 2 points or whatever. So I probably would have done it differently looking back on it. But that's just kind of some of the chances that you're taking to go after stage points or put yourself in a position later at the end of the race to win a race or do something like that. So it worked out for them. Didn't work out for us last week, but.
Yeah, and this week too, you also have tires. Tires aren't a huge deal, it seems like here, so you can take 2 or none, or you also have that playing into it. So. Yeah,
track position. It's kind of important everywhere for us, really, but here especially, it's just really difficult to pass. And I think even last year, even though we only saw 54 laps or whatever the race, you saw guys taking 2 and guys taking no tires just to get up front because the clean air is just so important.
Lee, go ahead.
Lee, SpencerMotorsport.com. I've got questions for all 3, so I'll try to make it quick. What's CLS stand for?
City Light Shine, the whiskey company that me and Mike Dolan own.
Okay, I was just curious because it's my monogram. Tyler, Brennan, can you tell me about Tyler Reddick? What it's been like racing with him.
Yeah, he's super fast. So he's been able to bring a lot of stuff to the table on the weekends that he's been in the car, so we could kind of bounce some things off of each other. He works really hard. He's at all of our team meetings. He's in the gym with me, and it's other times on himself. I've walked in and been like, man, he's here working. So he's just a really hard worker and has a lot of speed and is determined. And so I like having a teammate like that. It's been a lot of fun.
And Cole, your dad told me that Kevin Harvick has been a huge mentor to you. Can you just talk about what advice he's giving you and how the 2 of you have worked together?
Yeah, I usually just call him every single week and try and get advice on the track coming up. And, he's obviously one of the best, and he runs the Xfinity cars a lot. So he's definitely a great one to talk to. So he's just helped me with different things to think about at the track and different things to try and things that he does. So mostly stuff like just with driving, mostly. A little bit. I'll ask him questions about that sometimes, and a lot of times on restarts it's up to you. You're the one holding the wheel, and every situation is different, so it's kind of up to you at some point on restarts.
Go ahead, Robbie.
Robbie Mays, MRN. I'm sure you guys have heard Richard Petty's 80th birthday is coming up next month, Daytona week. You guys have a favorite Richard Petty story from over the years?
You boys been old enough to have any Richard Petty stories?
I don't.
Sorry.
I mean, I don't. I'm 26. I don't think that I'm old enough to have been a part of it or seen any of it really. But I think looking back on some of the history and just thinking about all the things that he's done for the sport, when he was racing and winning all those races and stuff, they were racing at Hickory and it was dirt. I raced Hickory, not that long ago, so it's just kind of crazy to look back on that. And I saw some of the stuff they were doing. I can't remember where I was watching on TV where they were showing some of his cars and all the history and things that he had done, and it's really just amazing to think about that. What an incredible career, and to be 80 years old or about to turn 80 and be at the racetrack every weekend. At Dover, he was right there in the mix, looking at the car, asking questions, talking to Regan. So, man, it just that's incredible to me.
He, it's sorry, boys, I had to tee that one up. I've been in sport a long time, and I used to work for Richard at the Experience when he was part of the owners group of the Experience, and honored to say that I've been around him a long time, and I appreciate everything he did for me, especially early in my career. Let me do so much with the school and around him. He's an amazing dude. I mean, I remember he looked at me one day and he saw my autograph and he smiled, because so many guys' autographs are just a bunch of scribbles that you can't understand to be as fast as humanly possible, so you can knock out people in an autograph line and can't even understand what their autograph looks like. I can pick out guys to this day and look and go, what the hell is that? And Richard looked at my autograph and laughed, because I have an autograph. If anybody's ever seen Richard Petty's autograph or seen how he still signs it to this day, I've actually been told by a driver that the least amount of times you pick up your pen, the faster it is, the more people you can get through. That's the mentality some people have today. Richard Petty does not have that mentality, and I love that about him still today. I mean, he will do those things for fans when he can, and he's awesome, and he likes that my autograph is not one that is just a flat line that you can fly through quickly. So he's an amazing man. He's been great for our sport, and he's the reason why all three of us are able to sit here today, because guys like him, and his father Lee and Ralph Earnhardt and those guys took the time back in the early days to just be one of the fans with it. And Richard's a great man, a great mentor to this deal, and it is true. He's 80 years old, and he's in the garage on TV last week, with a backup driver in his race car, and there he is standing there looking under the hood. Looks nothing like what he looked at when he was driving, but he's sitting there looking at it, going, probably saying, man, what the hell they got in there now? But I love that he's still a big part of our sport, and happy birthday.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, my probably biggest moment was just probably meeting him for the first time when I was a really young kid, and just being really nervous. And then I met him, and he was like
last
probably
year, really young kid?
yeah, exactly. He was just the most down to earth person you'll ever meet. He's just the nicest guy, and then like you said, it's just amazing what he does. I mean, he's been coming to the track for probably 60 years, just signing autographs and being awesome to the fans, and it's just amazing, like how long he can, and he loves doing it. So it's just he's an awesome person, and a great spokesman for our sport.
Any additional questions for these? Go ahead, Chris. Wrap it up, Chris.
Yeah.
I just wonder how tough this 20 race stretch is probably for you guys as drivers, for the team as a whole, because you guys race all the way till Charlotte in October. Just wondering how you guys face that.
Me personally, I love it. I love to race. I mean, I'm 40. I'll be 42, turning 42 in the middle of this stretch, and these two right here, are still young, and I guarantee they're going to say the same thing. They're young. I mean, he's still got teammates in the gym. I mean, if you look at me, you definitely know I'm not in the gym. But I think this is what we do. We're here to race cars. We're here to be race car drivers, and the fact that we have this long stretch, it can get tough on teams, especially if things start going bad. But that's where leadership helps. I have Shane Wilson. I have guys that have been with me 18 years. So we know how to weather these storms, and this is normally where, in my career, all my best average finishes go up during these long runs, because we're able to sustain, and sometimes the young kids hopefully lose focus.
I mean, for me, I was ready to go Tuesday. You know what I mean? Like that was. I'm
not ready to go Tuesday anymore. Just for the record, not ready on Tuesdays anymore.
I just, it's just fun, and we all love doing it. We love racing, and waiting a week to go again is plenty long enough. But I know all of our guys. It's hard on the guys. Everyone's got to work really hard, turn things around in the shop. And it takes a lot of effort to do all those things and do them right, do it properly, and unload and have fast race cars every week. So that part of it, I think, is tough on all of them. For me, I get to go and have fun when I get in that car on Fridays. So, but it's just part of the sport. It's a stretch, and like Brennan said, you got to stay focused and work hard, and hopefully things go your direction. But I think as you race every week, you kind of build some momentum if it's going well, and it can be really positive for you and your guys. You just got to keep it going, keep working hard.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy. I mean, I don't think I've ever really, I don't think I've really ever done a 20-week stretch before. So it's going to be a little bit different, but I think it's going to be fun, and hopefully build some consistency up, and you get on a roll and get some momentum. But like Brendan said, if things go bad, they can go really bad, and just week to week, things can go wrong. But it's either usually it can go really good or it can go really bad, I bet. But I think we've had some solid runs going into it, so hopefully we can keep it up.
Brendan, how do you feel about the Vegas race next year?
2 dates?
Yeah.
No, look, my family worked very hard for the last 10 years to get that. So, I mean, it's great for our town. It's great for the race fan. What they are able to get in Las Vegas versus other markets is a big deal. The prices that you pay, the ancillary things that go along with it. Vegas is a great place for the fan. And Vegas, you're never going to make all the people happy all the time, folks. We all know this. There are a lot of people that dislike me, dislike Vegas, dislike SMI, dislike all these things. But it's business decisions, and the business decision says that's a good deal for the fan. It's a good deal for most of the people involved, and I'm excited that my hometown has 2 races next year. I mean, it's going to be great to have 2 races at Vegas, and all the teams will be happy that they're staying at the South Point 2 times for the teams that used to stay with me and left.
Yeah.
So we're he had nothing to do with the decision, but it was fun to point to him, and so it'll be good for the sport as a whole.
Gentlemen, thanks for stopping by, and good luck tomorrow.
Thanks.
Since he was what?